Welcome back to the channel. My name is Emory. Today we're talking about trekking poles and a new set of trekking poles that I used this last summer from Argali. My buddy over at Argali, Brad Brooks, started making his own gear. They make shelters, they make game bags, and trekking poles and a bunch of fun stuff. And what's really cool about these is they have a trick up their sleeve that I'll show you here in a second. Before I do, I've been using a set of Lecky trekking poles for 8 years. I hiked the entire PCT with these ones. They have a cork handle, speed locks, nothing really fancy about these. I've never had a problem with them. They've never broken. I have zero issues with them, which is why I've used them for 8 years. But since Brad launched some gear, some of that gear was trekking poles. And I was like, dude, that's super cool. Can I give him a shot? He said, yeah. So he sent them to me to try, and I hiked around Mount Hood on the Timberline Trail with the Guide X trekking poles, and they were great. Trekking poles aren't a complicated subject. I would suggest not overthinking them. The only thing I would take into account when it comes to trekking poles is the grip and how you extend them or adjust them. Material-wise, I guess you could probably split hairs over which is better, carbon fiber or aluminum. For the most part at this point, all trekking poles are pretty lightweight. And if you're spending like $130 on them, they're gonna be just fine. But what's cool about these ones is they have a trick up their sleeve. Under this cap right here, it is removable and it exposes a thread. So I'll show you here in a second. Here you go. So inside there is a thread. And what's cool about this is that now allows you to attach different accessories to it. Now, the big one for hunters would be turning this trekking pole into a shooting stick. You now have a tool in your pocket, aside from just, stability in the backcountry and maybe a tent pole. Now you have a shooting stick. But what I'm excited about is that maybe you can put a camera on there. There's an action camera or maybe like a GoPro. You could pop that off, make a mount for it, attach it, and now you have like a selfie stick, or maybe just one for your camera. In general, maybe Brad can come out with, you turn this into a monopod, and now you're shooting video or photography, and you don't have to carry an extra monopod or tripod. You can just use your trekking pole, slap it on there, and now you're doing your thing. I think that is really cool. And I think the other option that could be really fun is maybe like an Iceax accessory. These are all things that are possible with the ability to take this cap off and put something on there. My experience with it after 40 miles on the Timberline Trail, just your average trekking pole. The thing that I will focus on right now is the grip. I would prefer, instead of like this EVA foam, I would prefer a cork grip, but everyone has their preferences. Again, it's not a big deal. My hands survived just fine, but it did, a little black stuff did wear off on it, but that's after 40 miles and spending all day on the trail. The other thing was, if you look at the difference between, and this is a really important thing, if you look at the difference between the shape of the handles, see here, focus, this has a little more angle on it, and this one is very, very smooth. So the way I go down a hill is I will put my wrist in here, and then I will use the top to kind of brake myself. I don't use the handle. I use the top to brake myself. When I did that with these trekking poles, it's because it's not as big of a head to it, and because there's like these angles on it, it's not smooth and rounded like the Lecky one. I felt like it wasn't as comfortable, so I ended up having to go down the hills, braking like that. Whereas I like to brake with my hand on the pommel. If I could choose one thing to change, I would change the grip out or just have a cork option and kind of smooth out the head of this. But again, that's how I use my trekking poles, and those are personal preferences. Other than that, these trekking poles are great. So if you're looking for a new set of trekking poles, specifically if you're a hunter, these would be great because it can turn into a shooting stick. And in the future, I would imagine that more accessories will come out for what you can adapt your trekking pole into. So nothing crazy. I just wanted to give a shout out to Brad and Argali for these awesome trekking poles. Thanks so much for letting me use them. If you're headed out on an adventure anytime soon, be safe, make great decisions. We'll see you next time.